1985, the city of churches reverberated to the sound of high-performance engines for the first time when Grand Prix racing came to town. A decade and a half later, the reverberations have returned, but in an entirely new form, the sports cars from Le Mans. For nearly 80 years, Le Mans has been home to one of the most prestigious sports car races in the world. Now it's Adelaide's turn to sample the speed and spectacle of the annual 24-hour classic. On the last night of the year in 2000, it's the final round of the American Le Mans Series. Some of the world's finest drivers aboard the world's most exotic sports cars. It's time to sit back, strap on the helmet and buckle the harness for Adelaide's New Year event to end all others, the race of 1,000 years.
Loud and clear, first chicane, okay.
The wait is finally over and the most exotic sports cars in the world are here in Australia. Hello, I'm Lee Diffie and welcome to the race of 1,000 years here on the streets of Adelaide. This is the grand final of the 2000 Le Mans Series. Well, the teams and the drivers have converged on the South Australian capital for the first race on the old Formula One Grand Prix circuit since 1995. It's been more than a decade since world-class sports cars visited our shores, and many people say that's been far too long. Let's join Charles Stewart as he brings us up to date on the series and the cars.
The race of 1,000 years marks the completion of the second year of the American Le Mans Series. 12 races around the globe that had their genesis in the Le Mans 24-hour classic. The series is the dream of one man, Don Panoz.
Le Mans had the history of rules once a year and very strictly enforcing the rules, rewarding technology, making the cars the real stars, and I just decided that we needed to follow that pattern and give the fans and the people out there that type of show.
Like Le Mans, the races throw up a comprehensive test of endurance for man and machine. At speeds of up to 300 kilometres an hour, the Le Mans cars will lap Adelaide's original Grand Prix Street circuit for a hot and demanding 6 hours. 3 different categories will race in the event. The fastest and most exotic are the prototypes. Purpose-built race cars like the Audi, the Panoz, the BMW, the Lola and the Cadillacs. Then there's the GTS category, production-based cars like the Dodge Viper, Chevrolet Corvette and Porsche Turbo. The final category is the GT class, primarily a battle between a fleet of Porsche GT3s and the new BMW M3s. The year 2000 has been the year of Audi, with many victories including a 1-2-3 at Le Mans. The team has been pressed all the way by Panoz and BMW, but has come to celebrate the championship it has clinched in style. The Drivers' Championship is still to be determined, with only Scotsman Alan McNish and Italy's Ronaldo Capello as the remaining contenders. All season long, the battle in the GTS category has been between Corvette and Viper, but the experienced pairing of Olivier Beretta and Carl Wedlinger in Team Orica's Viper has set the benchmark. And in the GT class, it's been the Dick Barber Racing GT3s that have been setting the pace, mostly getting the better of Hans Stuck in the BMW M3. 3 categories, 26 cars, more than 60 drivers, and more than 1,000 kilometres of flat-out racing. That's the potent mix for the Asia-Pacific leg of the Le Mans Series.
A potent mix indeed, and certainly the most exotic seen in Adelaide since the F1 days. As far as qualifying is concerned, it's the 2 Audis ahead of the 3 Panoz cars. Alan McNish and Dindo Capello in the colourful crocodile livery. They'll start from pole position ahead of the more conventionally presented 78 car of Emanuele Piro and Frank Biela. But the big late breaking news concerns Audi's #1 driver and championship leader Alan McNish. He's injured his back and is expected to only do enough laps to get the points for the championship.
Certainly right now I feel comfortable enough and the doctors feel comfortable enough for me to drive. And so in normal circumstances, between now and the race and, well, warm-up accident apart, I will do the start and I will run as long as it feels comfortable and everything feels okay. Obviously there's one overriding thing though I've got to consider, but more importantly the doctors consider for me on my behalf, is that I wouldn't do any damage to myself in longer term, and they have taken that into consideration right now, but they'll continually monitor it because the championship means a hell of a lot to me, and it really is an important thing in my career. However, saying that, walking around for the next 40 years hopefully will mean a lot more.
At the last minute, veteran Australian Audi favourite Brad Jones was flown in from Albury to help out. He only saw the car for the first time late yesterday afternoon and faces a very steep, exciting and daunting learning curve.
Oh, the car is absolutely fantastic. You know, I still can't believe that I've got the opportunity to drive the best sports car in the world, and I'm coming to grips with it. I would never say that I'm happy to be 4 or 5 seconds a lap slower than my teammate, but it's hard with so much traffic, and you know, thankfully I know my way around here, so that's not bothering me too much. But the downforce is a really hard thing to get used to. You know, going so fast on the high speed stuff. But I'm enjoying every second of it, and I can't get enough of it, and I'm looking forward to the race.
But Audi had other problems. This is Dindo Capello in the 77 Audi, who was facing the majority of the work at the race of 1,000 years. This is in the closing stages of morning warm-up. Capello looking around, looking a little shocked and dazed, and not surprisingly, he was wondering what had happened to the 77 Audi. And if we watch the replay, Brad Jones a little disappointed. Front left wheel, the wheel nut flying off. And as Dindo Capello mounts the ripple strip, so too does the wheel, leaving the Italian with no steering and to career straight into the tyre wall. Fortunately, the damage was just suspension on that front left-hand side. The Audi team had 3 hours in which to fix it. Team manager Reinhold Joest looking on, but would the race reveal more than just suspension damage? As far as the other categories are concerned, it's the 2 Team Orica Vipers that head up the GTS class. Carl Wedlinger and Olivier Beretta will start from pole position ahead of their sister car and the Chamberlain Viper in 3rd. In the GT class, it's again the 2 Dick Barber Porsches. Sasha Masson and Bob Vollett couldn't quite get there. Lucas Luer and Dirk Muller will start from pole position. So that's the scenario. We await starters' orders for 6 hours of frantic action. This is Adelaide's race of 1,000 years.
They make the turn, the right-hand turn onto the front straightaway. The pace car is pulled off. The field is under green, and we are underway with the race of 1,000 years. And Frank Biela will lead the field into the chicane.
Biela takes over the lead going into turn number 1. Everybody else so far has gotten the way through. This has become a tricky piece of the racetrack. A lot of people are using the curb as best they possibly can to carry as much speed as they can onto a straighter piece just behind it. So far, though, the Audis are 1 and 2. The Panoz cars 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Then the 2 Cadillacs, and then we've got a couple of Lolas back there. One powered by a Judd engine, another with a Ford.
And behind them, the GTS competitors, the 91, 92, and then the 61 cars. So they are holding station as they started, and we'll be waiting to see what's happening in GT as soon as the cars come into frame for us. But out front, it's Frank Biela, chased by Alan McNish, David Brabham, then Johnny O'Connell, and Jan Magnussen. It's 2 Audis and then 3 Panoz machines.
Now let's ride with one of those Panoz machines, Australia's David Brabham, and this will give you some indication of what it's like in this 600 horsepower V8 monster. From one Panoz to another, this is the number 1 Panoz, Jan Magnussen and Klaus Graf. Magnussen behind the wheel. This is very early stages in the race, and this does not look good for that number 1 car. This is the 2001 spec Panoz, the new 4-litre V8. It's a magnificent race car, but the team are working hard to develop it. They've been working hard throughout the year to have it ready for the race of 1,000 years, and some problems early on. Dave Price, the reason why the number 1 Panoz is out of the race?
We've had an alternator drive failure on it, which we've had a couple this weekend now, and we haven't got any more bits to replace it. And then, because the battery goes flat, the engine starts misfiring, and that's it.
No doubt it's disappointing, very disappointing for you.
Yeah, it's been a hard weekend with that car, but we'd hope that we might get a bit further than this. But there you go. Yeah, it is disappointing.
11 minutes into our race, 7 laps altogether. Frank Biela, the race leader in the 78 car, the 77, and really pressing him hard is Alan McNish. If anybody could drive this fast with a sore back, imagine how quick he could be if he was 100%. McNish in the 77 car runs second by 55 hundredths of a second, that's all. Now, we've got a battle for GT developing too, with a 2 Dick Barber cars side by side and a pass.
Dirk Mueller has passed his teammate Sasha Masson and taken over the lead in the GT category. The pass happened and right behind it's a 3-car battle actually, Jim, as it's Lucas Lohr, Sasha Masson, and Bill Auberlin in the number 10 car are nose to tail in the GT category, and they'll be coming down the Brabham straightaway very, very shortly. And now, bad news for the 37 car. Vic Rice bringing the Porsche onto the road. It looks like he's had a problem with the right front suspension. David Addison has more.
The car has just limped into the pit lane. Now, the team is lucky because their pit garage is at the very far end away from your booth. In other words, it's one of the first garages that you get to in the pit lane. But certainly it's a right front suspension problem. Rob Sherl, whose Certec mechanics are crewing this car, is there. He's trying to get it just to roll a little bit further so they can work on the car. Now, it's struggling even with the momentum of this car. It does limp another length or 2. But it's either hit a curb or hit some other car, but certainly that front right suspension is badly broken. The wheel, as it's lifted into the air, sort of drops rather forlornly back into the right alignment. The wheel's going to come off, but I can only assume that he's biffed a big high curb somewhere and broken the suspension.
Coming down the front straightaway again, the race leaders have done a tremendous job over the past 4 corners, getting around the 2 BMWs running in very, very close proximity. The 6 and 7 cars, respectively, didn't want to make room and let the race leaders go by, but the race leaders kind of found a place for themselves nonetheless. The difference between first and second changes by 1/100th of a second, in spite of the fact that they had to deal with some traffic along the way, and they've got even more traffic in front of them now as that battle between first, second, and third in GT looms up ahead.
And this is the second time that they have come through this battle, so you can see just how how quickly the Audis are lapping this 2.3-mile Adelaide Circuit. And again, they are moving very easily through these front runners in the GT category. So the drivers, Lucas Luhr, Sasha Maassen, and Bill Auberlen, certainly are doing an excellent job of being aware of what is going on around them besides the battle that they're in. As Lucas Luhr has pulled out a bit of a lead, he now has about a 10-car length lead over Maassen in the 51 car, and Maassen has his hands absolutely full of Bill Auberlen in the number 10 BMW.
Sasha Maassen doing a tremendous piece of driving there. Not only making rubber, we've got a battle for the lead.
Alan McNish makes a move on Frank Biela as they were coming up on the 37 car. Alan McNish dives underneath Frank Biela, and he will lead the race of 1,000 years the next time by. So 24 minutes in as they are running lap number 17. It has taken him 17 laps, but Alan McNish has now climbed to the top of the leaderboard in the Audi number 77.
And now the difference between first and second is 9/10 of a second. The difference between Frank Biela and Alan McNish the last time around was about half a second. Now this time they go by. McNish has already got a 1-second advantage over the second place Frank Biela in the 78 car. It'll be interesting to see how much he can stretch that out, because it really was apparent that Alan McNish seemed to have a quicker way around the racetrack than Frank Biela, who was immediately in front of him and maybe hold him up just a little bit. We'll, over the next couple of laps, find out exactly how quick Alan McNish really is.
Starting to stretch his legs a little bit around this 2.39-mile circuit. There's no stretching out in the GT category, as the top three in class, they are nose to tail once again as they have gotten in file in line behind the 37 car. It is Lucas Luhr leading Sasha Maassen and Bill Auberlen, and now they are separated by mere tenths from first to third.
Actually, another interesting piece, courtesy of our friends over at Timing and Scoring, the difference between the two cars in that big battle for second place in GT, the 51 Porsche and the number 10 BMW, the difference is actually, as far as their fastest race lap, is 1/100th, actually 1/1000th of a second. And Sasha Maassen is 1,000th of a second faster so far.
Trouble on the racetrack for the number 69 car. That's the Kai Wankum, Joe Foster, and Jeff Pabst entry.
Got a little sideways coming into the final corner of the circuit, back onto the front straightaway. A quick little spin, and we've seen a dozen spins just like it, because everybody tries to carry as much speed as they possibly can. Got the car righted and is back underway once again. However, the 69 car runs 22nd overall as a result of that spin, some 40 seconds out of the lead in GT.
As far as the overall placings are concerned, it is two Audis followed by the two Panoz cars. It's McNish and Biela, 1 and 2, followed by David Brabham and the American Johnny O'Connell in the number 2 car. Emmanuel Collard is running well inside the top 5, just ahead of this car we're riding with now. Mimo Schiattarella running in 6th position. GTS, it's Olivier Beretta running 9th outright. He leads the way. And the GT leader doing a marvellous job inside the top 10 is the Dick Barber Porsche of Lucas Luhr. 13th outright and some 4 laps down, as Boris said, in the BMW M3. The two Sky Racing Porsches are 18th and 19th respectively, ahead of another Australian, Ray Lintott, running 20th and 3rd in the GTS class. And all the way back in 25th and some 30 laps down, that number 1 Panoz of Jan Magnussen.
Adelaide is not only celebrating the return of sports car racing in Australia, but the return of competition on the full Grand Prix Street circuit. Over the past 2 years, the V8 supercars have raced on the Adelaide streets, but it's been an abbreviated track. The Race of 1,000 Years is the first event on the 3.8-kilometre circuit since 1995.
But the Adelaide Circuit is considered, with the people that are here this weekend, to be the street circuit of street circuits. And Bathurst is fantastic. All the other circuits that we have in Australia have their own notoriety. But I believe that the Adelaide Street Circuit is a very individual circuit. It's very highly regarded by these people here. The wide straights, the overall width of the course is quite a surprise to the people that are here the first time. It's most unlike most other street circuits.
Memories of the 10 years of Formula One from 1985 will stay with the Adelaide people for a long time. During those years, the circuit and its facilities received universal praise from drivers and teams. The exciting and challenging layout, coupled with the excellent vantage points for spectators, made it one of the most anticipated races each season. Most importantly, nothing has changed, and the Le Mans Series competitors will experience everything the F1 boys did. The tight turns of Wakefield Street and East Terrace, the long stretches down Jones and Bradley Straights, and who could forget Stag Corner, or Cooper's Corner as it is now known.
It is much faster as it looks, you know, and you have the chance to use some runoff areas to be really fast. It's very challenging, very demanding. You have to have a very good car setup, so it's the best, simply the best.
Of could Alan McNish last the distance has been answered. He is staying in the car. He's done more than the required 25 laps. His back must be okay. He is double stinting.
Now, the other Audi didn't need a new set of tyres. Will 77. The new boots are standing there just in case. Ronaldo Capello has his crash helmet on. He steps forward saying, "Can I have a go?" And Alan, I think, is pretty happy in the car for the time being. "This is my toy," says McNish. "I'm going to stay in it." They've refueled it, and that is all that they've had to do. Alan McNish is going to go out and do another stint, and on the same set of tyres. This is a heroic drive.
So as he has all year long, Alan McNish is thrilled the fans of the American Le Mans Series, as all these drivers have. David Brabham, Frank Billy, Emanuele Piro, Dindo Capello, they have all put on fantastic shows, and this is the type of toughness that we've come to expect from all the drivers in the American Le Mans Series. Alan McNish gets a lot of credit because he is the champion this year, but certainly there is no driver in any of those top teams that certainly has to give way to Alan as he continues to, as he is in fact, according to scoring, held the lead after the pit stop. So as they have double stinted the tires on, as he would have, because Frank Biela stopped first, so that gave him enough of an advantage. So Alan McNish has held the lead after the pit stop. And oh, bad news for one of the BMWs. Who is it? Boris Said. Oh, that is too bad. Oh. Boris Said has come to a stop out on the racetrack, and the marshals are pushing the car to a safe spot. We're seeing some onboard pictures of Boris on the big screens, and let's see. That looks like that might be turn 5 in the turn 5 area. So sad end for Boris Said.
We've had a near coming together on the racetrack, and it looked as though one of the GT cars got in the way of David Brabham and forced him to run the wide way around a corner here. We'll have to take a look and see if we can find out exactly who it is. He ends up on the curb and just narrowly avoids putting that number 12 Panoz into the concrete, gets the car twisted around and back out onto the race circuit again. But a very, very close call for David Brabham in the third place, 12 Panoz a moment ago.
Yes, and he not only did he get up on the curb, but he did have a coming together with that Porsche, and he did a heck of a job to not completely spin that car around. That was some pretty fancy driving. He's gotten back underway, but now Alan McNish is just absolutely all over the Panoz number 12 and is threatening to put David Brabham a lap down, and that would be a tough break because we are just at the 1 hour, just 5 minutes past the 1 hour mark.
It'll be interesting to see if we can this lap time as far as Alan McNish. It really looks as if Alan McNish is quite content at this pace. He'll stay with him and wait for David Brabham to let him by, because the last thing he wants to do is give this race away, or by the other side of that coin, he doesn't want to take both these race cars out of this contest. It's very important to both of them. David, his basically in his hometown as far as all the competitors concerned, and Alan McNish would love to win a championship with a victory today.
As far as the top four are concerned, nothing has changed. It's still Audi, Panoz, Panoz. The combination of Capello, McNish and Australia's Brad Jones lead by over 30 seconds. The two Dams Cadillacs running 6th and 7th, and an outstanding job by Sasha Masson and Bob Wallach to be running 8th outright and 1st in the GT class. Olivier Beretta, Carl Wendlinger and Dominic Dupuy, they've had some problems. They're running a little further back in 12th. And Rowan Skate, Doc Bundy and Wall running 19th, just ahead of Ray Lintott, maintaining that 20th position. And Hans Stuck, Van Overbeek and Boris said they've had their fair share of problems as well.
Well, there is good news for the BMW contingent as now Randy Popes continues to lead, but we're waiting for him to make his pit stop.
The 51 Porsche has a flat tire out on the circuit, though.
Oh, that's horrible.
Wallach.
That's horrible news for the Porsches. No, Wallach.
We find out why Bob Wallach's got a flat tire and
coming together with
an Audi.
With a 78 Audi. Bob Wallach got clipped by the 78 Audi as they were coming through the left-right section, turns 4, 5, and 6, and so he'll be limping in. It is the right rear tire. It is flat as he must make his way all the way down that long back straightaway now, and this is going to be a horrible break for Sasha Masson and his title hopes, and as well as Bob Wallach's.
Boy, an incredible turn of events. The second place Audi runs into one of the cars battling for a class title over the course of the season, the number 51 Porsche, Bob Wallach. Bob brings the car in. They have to work on the rear suspension a little bit and make sure that's 100%. They change the right rear tire. Bob's back underway. However, he's lost a whole bunch of territory out on the racetrack. At the 1 hour 30-minute mark in GT, first place is Brian Cunningham's number 10 BMW. Second place, the number 5 Dirk Muller Porsche. That car runs 35 seconds behind. Some other teams not having a tremendously good day today, and actually one driver in particular, David Brabham, knows his way around the track here in Adelaide more than anyone else. Unfortunately, there's some people that he tries to get around from time to time, don't know it quite as well, and have used David as a bit of a traffic marker. And once again, as we watch a car spinning, and from the look of it, maybe in front of David Brabham's number 12 car, indeed does so. The number 15 Porsche has spun. Randy Warris has committed a spin, and the 2 Panoz has just slid off the racetrack. Johnny O'Connell makes a little miscue out on the racetrack too. David Brabham's had a near coming together and almost a spin in one portion, and his teammate Johnny O'Connell does likewise. The Panoz squad 3rd and 4th so far after an hour and 35 minutes. Not having a great day today, still running, but really having a tough time of it thus far.
The Le Mans Series race down under would be missing something if there wasn't a little homegrown talent on the starting grid. And come race time, there was more local drivers than expected. Heading the Southern Hemisphere contingent is the number 12 Panoz of David Brabham, Greg Murphy and Jason Bright. All three are excited about the opportunity of driving together.
To be in a big event like this with the three of us, with a real chance of winning this race, again, that's a thrill for me as well. These things stretch their legs. Once they stretch their legs, they're going to be doing close to 300k down Brabham Straight, and coming down to a first gear hairpin, from that speed, it's going to be a lot like the old Formula 1 days.
I'm very privileged. Murph and I are very privileged to have such a good guy in the car with us. Quite honoured to, that he's, jumped in with us. Being our first race and everything. So I think it's great. It gives us a real chance at winning, and it's great to be in with such a big name.
It was always going to be a tough task for Murphy and Bright, who had only driven the prototype car once in the lead-up to Adelaide. But team leader David Brabham was impressed at how easily the 2 V8 supercar drivers took to the Panoz at the Sebring test.
They're 2 professional race car drivers. They got in and they did a great job, I'm expecting, you know, great things from them this weekend. They've driven here, so they don't have to learn the track.
While the Panoz threesome are the star attraction, there's another team further down pit lane that's just as patriotic. Perth's Rowan Skay has campaigned 2 Porsche GT3s in the GT class all year, and to finally compete on home soil is a dream come true.
It's sensational being here. This town's got such a reputation for motorsport around the world, and we're just delighted to be here.
Skay is competing at the race of 1,000 years with fellow Aussie Des Wall and American Doc Bundy, while the second Skay Porsche is manned by the British combination of Johnny Molam and Richard Dean. The idea of running an international team in a foreign series is something he's wanted to do for some time.
The World Championship, effectively, of endurance sports car racing is the ALMS series, and we really wanted to be part of that. It's a full professional program. It goes on the great tracks around the world, including Le Mans, and it was the pinnacle, and we decided that that's where we wanted to be.
And ensuring there was at least one Australian in each of the 3 categories, Sydney automotive dealer Ray Lintott is again driving with the British-based Chamberlain Racing in the GTS class. The team consists of South African Steve Watson and the Venezuelan Milka Duno. Lintott believes he has the best of both worlds, as Watson is fast and Milka isn't what you'd describe as your average racer.
I sat with her today and for an autograph session for an hour. It was just amazing. I mean, everybody comes up to her, including the ladies, and say, wow, you make us proud. You're a woman doing all this fun stuff. Guys wanted to kiss her. Unbelievable. And she obliged.
Other Australians competing in the race of 1,000 years include Alan Heath in the prototype class and Darren Palmer and Christian DeGostin in the GT category.
So far, the race order, we still have the 77, 78 cars are running, well, not exactly nose to tail out there, but first and second as they have for quite a while. Third place, we've got the number 12, the Australian crew, with David Brubham leading the charge right now in the number 12 machine, running in third spot. About 40 seconds off the pace of the race leader as the number 10 BMW has done a quick spin for us on the racetrack, and now with the actually, they've actually got the...
Yeah, I think it's a bigger problem than the spin,
yeah,
Jim. He is
So.
slowed, and that's coming off the left-hander, turn 9, before the long trip down the back to the Brabham straightaway here. And indeed, he has clouded the curves. Oh, all
this
4 wheels. Ooh, my. Right in front of Frank Biela. The number 10 car with Brian Cunningham behind the wheel went all 4 wheels over the curb at the chicane, got all 4 wheels off the ground, and he is... dinged that mount pretty hard, so and now he's nearly come to a stop. He's almost to the turn 10 area, and boy, it looks like he is really limping back here now.
Boy,
on the
tons of fun on the track.
Lots of things going on. The 71 car has slid off the track, and also Didier de Radigas has taken the 0 car for a spin. So all kinds of things going on the racetrack. I wonder if things are getting a little slippery out there.
It really looks as if it is, because suddenly we've had a whole bunch of people do little miscues on the racetrack. Nobody has meant any harm yet. However, we'll get another look over the shoulder of Didier de Radigas as he comes into the corner and slides right through it. Actually, he was trying to make a pass of one of the prototype Panoz cars, I believe, and just overcooked it a little bit. Gets the car all the way down the escape road there, and actually made a pass to the inside of Johnny O'Connell. Unfortunately, the speed required to make the pass was too much to make the corner, too. And we've got a car in along pit lane. David Brubham makes a stop in third place after an hour and 43 minutes.
Whilst the number 1 Panoz has already exited the race, the remaining 2 are running strong. David Brabham has done a good job to maintain third position on the road, but now it's time to hand over to Greg Murphy, undoubtedly one of the biggest moments in the Kiwis' career.
Murphy hits the number 12 Panoz back out onto the racetrack in third position behind McNish and Biela.
Now the number 2 car has made an appearance on pit road. It looked like a routine pit stop.
Yeah, Rocky Kato got aboard.
Was climbing aboard. They looked like they were going to change all 4 tires, as now the 10 car has finally limped his way around and is coming onto the front straightaway, as we're getting a replay on the big screens that Johnny O'Connell had gone straight off into the runoff area, and then he came into the pits. So now there is a problem for the number 2 car.
Now, as far as that number 10 BMW that's finally made its way back down along pit lane, it's in along that pit lane and is being backed into the garage area, which doesn't necessarily mean that their day is done. It does, however, mean that if they get the approval of the officials, it means that the entire team can go to work to replace that half shaft if they choose to do that. So, as we understand it, Brian Cunningham, the number 10 BMW in long pit lane, back into the paddock area now, inside the garage. And the Prototype Technology Group team will have the opportunity to change what has sounded like a broken half shaft. They're removing the back wheels, so it looks as though that is the case. They'll try to get the 10 car back out again.
Well, he'll probably be able to get back out onto the racetrack as we look at Alan McNish just absolutely lock up all four wheels as he, at the end of the long back gravel straightaway, as he was going by the 51 car and one of the BMWs. McNish getting up just a little bit too hot as he now goes down the front straightaway and enters the chicane. So Alan McNish is still on the gas and almost a little bit too much on the gas.
Well, David Brabham, at the 2.5-hour mark of this 6-hour race, you're the only Panoz car that hasn't experienced problems.
Yeah, I mean, the car's running pretty good. I had a couple of close calls out there when I was driving around, but, you know, I'm trying as hard as I can, and we don't have as much grip as I would have liked, and we just can't have any answer yet to the Audis they're flying.
And how about Greg Murphy? He's just taken over. He's doing a good job.
Yeah, Greg's got into it very quickly, and he's doing a fantastic job. So, you know, if we can just maintain this pace, you know, if we get on the podium, I think that's a great result.
A little bit disappointing to see the other two cars the way they're at.
Oh, for sure. You know, I mean, this is a team effort, and you always want to see all cars doing well. And you know, it's racing. It happens, but it is a shame.
Crocodile car is coming in along pit lane. Alan McNish is going to maybe get out of the car finally. The guy reportedly has a sore back, and it looks as though as he unplugs the helmet, he wheels the car in along pit lane and will finally get a bit of a rest after leading this race for better than 1 hour and 30 minutes.
And it looks like Dindo Capello is going to get behind the wheel. David Addison is there.
And that's right, Renando Capello is getting into the car now. Alan McNish gets out. Brad Jones ushers him across now. Oh, Brad leaps into the car as well. I saw Dindo walk round the side of the car, and I think Brad is helping with the belts, isn't he? Saying to Alan, come on, get into the garage. So Alan McNish, because of his bad back, can't really do very much to help in terms of bending over into the cockpit. So Brad Jones there, crash helmet on, leaps into the car, helps to strap in Dindo Capello. They've done the refueling, now they're going to try and put the new tyres on the Crocodile Audi. And Renaldo Capello, who crashed that car this morning at the end of the warm-up, is going to go out on track now for his first stint in the race. Brad Jones disappears back into the garage. We'll go and have a word with Alan McNish as soon as we can. In the meantime, though, the tyre change being effected on Audi number 77. It's back on the ground. The engine will fire up in a moment. The headlights are on. Now the car goes back down the pit lane. Renaldo Capello takes 77 Audi back into the race.
And does so in first place, does not lose first place. He was a minute 24 in front of the second place Frank Villa number 78 car, which we expect along pit lane momentarily. Dindo Capello is the race leader now in car number 77, and we hope to have a little chat with Alan McNish, assuming that Alan hasn't gone for a quick lie down after driving the car for 2 full stints in the 78 Audis in along pit lane.
Well, Alan McNish, you've answered everyone's question of whether you can last the distance. The next question is, how is the back?
The back's not too bad. Basically, I've been stretching for the throttle pedal a little bit, and it's a bit tense down the back of my leg and across my backside, and that's what I'm trying to stretch it out at the moment, but it's difficult because I'm trying to stretch it without hurting my back. A couple of moments on the circuit, especially at the beginning, when I think I was maybe more nervous and tense of hurting myself. when I hit a bump and things, but generally it wasn't a problem. The car actually was very balanced, and that made it a bit easier.
We will see you get back in later tonight.
I don't know, that's the doctor's decision at the end of the day. Obviously, I would like to win the race if I can, and Dindo's having a good run at the moment, so you know, I think we're in a reasonably good shape. I've got to have clarification from our doctor, and also, if necessary, from the medical doctors of the circuit, that I'm in a position to do that.
Also on pit road is the Franz Conrad number 28 entry, and Conrad getting out of the car, and it looks like now getting in is going to be Alan Heath. So the young Australian making his first appearance here in the race of 1,000 years in Adelaide.
This weekend in Adelaide, the Le Mans Series can boast the best sports car drivers in the world, whether it be up-and-comers like Lucas Luhr or any of the 8 ex-Formula One drivers like Jan Magnussen or David Brabham. And that's one of the most attractive features about this series. It allows those drivers who have reached the pinnacle in motorsport the opportunity to continue their career in a competitive environment. In addition to that, it acts as a showcase for those competitors wishing to use it as a stepping stone to greater things.
Thanks to Don Panoz and his guys, he's bringing the sports car series up, you know. We don't have a similar series in the world. So the manufacturers like BMW, Audi, Porsche, Panoz, you know, like Chevrolet and also the Vipers, you know, they can show their ability in this kind of racing series. So we're very thankful. And I hope that we can also pay back Don Panoz by giving him a good race.
I still enjoy motor racing a lot and drive a racing car. Like I always did, even immediately after my Formula One time when I was out of Formula One, because I still like motor racing very much, and I still like to do it for a long time, and so it doesn't matter really in which championship I am, I enjoy it, and I'm happy to be here.
Formula One, its drivers and Adelaide will always have a never-ending love affair, and there is an association between F1 and Le Mans Adelaide. The street circuit's proud history is firmly built around the F1 days of the late 80s and early 90s, and some of the drivers from those days gone by have returned to South Australia a little older and in very different cars.
You know, before coming back you don't really have, you remember but not exactly every single point, but after lap 1, you know, everything comes back into your mind, and it was like I stepped out from the car the day before, you know, so it's been a good feeling.
For Australian David Brabham, this event has special significance as it's close to his heart for many reasons. But the main one, simply because it's on home soil.
It means a lot to me, I can tell you, because, you know, I've raced here a few times and 2 times in Formula One, and, you know, I would have liked better circumstances when I was in Formula One, but that wasn't to be, and I'm here now with a competitive team, and I've seen the team grow from when I was there 4 years ago, when it was very, very, very small and no one ever heard of the name Panoz, and you know, for the last 4 years I've been involved in the development of the team, and for me that's a big part of why I go racing as well. So to be here finally in good shape is great.
Legendary racer Hans Stuck never had the opportunity to race Formula One in Adelaide, but Carl Wendlinger and Mimo Schiatarella did compete on the street circuit and have positive memories. However, none of the crop of drivers in South Australia this weekend enjoyed the success Emanuele Piro did. He is the only one to have scored a Formula One World Championship point on the famed circuit.
For the track, for the ambient, for the memories, for the people, for the, you know, all around of the championship, because it's good to be in different countries. And this place has always given me really nice memories and feelings, and I'm really happy to be back here.
As far as the race score is concerned, the big mover has been the Judd-powered Lola of Mimo Schiatarella, Didier Duradigues and Norman Simon. They've moved up into 4th, putting Cato and O'Connell back to 5th. Running 6th outright and leading the GTS class, Beretta, Wendlinger and Dupuy. Australian Alan Heath is in there with Conrad and Slater doing well, 7th outright as well. The Sky Racing Porsche, the sole remaining one of Johnny Molam and Richard Dean, running 14th outright and well placed in the GT category. Then we have some more Aussies, Palmer, De Gosted in the Racers Group Porsche in there. Then we get back to the retirements, and that list is growing. Greg Murphy in the Panoz has been doing a brilliant job here at the race of 1,000 years, but it hasn't all been smooth sailing. Earlier, Greg went in a little bit hot. Whether he had some brake problems or not, we don't know, and he turned the Panoz around. Fortunately, the Kiwi was able to keep it off the wall. You can see him there looking to the right at the concrete wall, but there's plenty of runoff at certain sections of this Adelaide circuit, and Murphy did a very, very good job there to pull it up, turn it round, and keep it off that concrete wall. Greg Murphy now coming up on Hiroki Kato in the number 2 Panoz. Don Panoz, the man, the boss, keeping a watchful eye on Murphy, but he won't be too harsh on Greg. He knows how tough this kind of racing is.
The Olive Garden Lola slows out on the racetrack. The number 28 Lola goes by, and Norman tries to limp that car back this way, and we'll try to find out what has happened.
If this team has any luck at all, it's bad luck.
Boy.
They have been, every time they have gotten to... Oh, the right front tire just
exited
flew.
the race car.
Yeah, it just flew off the racetrack at the entrance to turn 9. So Norman Simon with a near miss, and you can see on the big screens that the course workers have fetched...
Marshals have a new table.
Yeah, they a new coffee table. They fetched the tire, and so now Norman Simon is limping on pit road minus his right front tire. So he will come in for service. They will probably change all 4 tires. They will refuel them, and that will put the car obviously off schedule with everyone else as they are checking over the right front suspension just to see if there is any lingering damage.
The same kind of problem that happened to the Audi team at the end of practice tonight, as one of the wheels decides it doesn't want to play anymore and exits the race car.
The lug nut, you can see the lug nut come off the tire as the tire kind of just exploded off the right side of the car.
And now he's coming along pit lane. They put a new tire on and say, no, you go ahead, drive as fast as you can.
Everything's fine, go for it.
Yeah, the wheels fall off from time to time and have fallen off other vehicles, but don't let that bother you. The Audis are 1 and 2. The Panoz 12 car runs 3rd. The 0 Norman Simon car back out on the racetrack after having replaced the right front tire is running 4th. 5th, Charlie Slater in the 28 car. The prototypes are first through 5. Coming down the start-finish line is the race leader. Dindo Capelli turns in lap number 119. Emanuele Piro is about a minute behind, almost exactly 1 minute in rears, the 78 car. And then we get to the number 12, which is the local favorite. The car with the 78 car stopped out in the circuit. Emanuele Piro has had some contact with the right front corner of the number 78 Audi, and he has stopped on the circuit.
Emanuele Piro's rough weekend continues. He's already had a couple of spins in that car. He was not happy with the way things have been going, and now it is well and truly come unglued. As we take a look at a replay on the big screen, he has just passed Franz Conrad, trying to pass Franz Conrad in the 28 car. Oh, my heavens.
Gets out into the marbles, and the car slides wide and into the concrete.
Just understeered. He tried to turn left, and there was nothing there to be had. And Emanuele Piro climbs out of the number 78 car. He surveys the damage on the right front side, and he is, I'm sure he's well and truly disgusted with the situation. As he looks like he's going to try and climb back in, and
he'll try to drive it back if he can.
He wanted to get a feel for just how much damage there was at the front there. He'll rebuckle in and try and make his way back around into the pits. Indeed, Emanuele Piro has the 78 car under power, and just in the nick of time, because Greg Murphy in the 12 car is now on equal laps at 118 with Piro. So we should see a position change there next time by, as Greg Murphy will be able to push the 12 car up into second place. As we're seeing on the big screens, another replay as Piro now looks like he's almost made it to the pit entrance. No, not quite. He's got a little ways to go yet. Yeah,
I was just double checking, but he's got to go almost all the way around the racetrack. That happened way over just past the end of the pit straight here.
Oh, and he's pulling it off the racetrack. So it looks like Piro is not going to be able to even get it back to pit lane. He has gone around turn 9 and onto the Jones straightaway, and was not even able to get it onto the Brabham straightaway. He has pulled it off into an opening in the wall.
Tragic.
And so that's a tough break.
Regular categories of Nations Cup and GTP were also on the bill in Adelaide. They were combined to form one class known for this weekend as the GT Touring Challenge. One competitor keen to do well was Mark Noski in the Ferrari 360. He had originally been part of the Panoz team for the race of 1,000 years, but a late change of plans saw the Victorian miss out.
Away they go. King gets away beautifully. Noski will slot into second spot. Winston Kim in third.
Noski's already through doing Greg Keane in the first of the right-handers as we head on through the S's.
Oh, the battle is well and truly on for fourth and fifth. Rod Wilson has now taken Mike Downard, so the Ferrari has got through on the Porsche GT3. So it looks like now that Wilson has moved himself up to fourth spot.
Rusty French now out in the Sky Zans. Dodge Viper back out onto the track. Clips a couple of curbs as he brings this big car, 1,500 kilos, around this Adelaide Street Circuit.
Mark Noski in car number 4. Give him a round of applause, folks, as he takes his win to win the Grand Touring Challenge here at the Adelaide Race of 1,000 Years. Away they go, the first of 12 laps, and a great start too from Dr. Greg Keane in car 21. He's grabbed the lead from Noski, down out up to third. Look at the Viper of Rusty French already into the top 5. Tremendous start from him too. Down through turn 1. The first dozen or so cars through pretty safely, one up over the ripple stretch now. Great performance too from Rusty French up to third now. The Sky Sands Dodge Viper doing a tremendous job. Rod Wilson in car 24. The second of the prancing horse Ferrari 360s behind him on the road. Then Mike Downard in the Porsche GT3.
Looks like Steve Krantz there. We actually got Peter Boylan turning the Honda Integra Type R around there and just getting a little note to say hi from Steve Krantz. And of course, Rusty French, a cagey old bugger, Craig. I mean, he's been around motor racing circuits for probably 30 years in Australia, and he's driven everything from some of the most exotic Porsche cars that you could possibly ever dream of, and in fact still owns a couple.
He's been touched and turned around. So he was touched by Rod Wilson and turned around coming onto the main straight. Now we'll light up the V10 8-litre and chases off after Wilson one more time. Glenn Cave on screen at the moment in car 27, the Challenge Recruitment BMW. Now he would be leading the sports touring class, so a good performance from Cave. We see Morecambe and Gazzard, also Masodi and Floyd all follow one another off, coming onto the main straight.
Must be the fast line out there in the grass. I've been there and it didn't work for me.
The 25-year-old Melbourne hotshot comes on to take the main straight for the last time. Give him a round of applause, folks. Mark Noski takes the checkered flag and makes it 2 out of 2 here at Adelaide this weekend.
The 91 Viper comes on pit road. This will be a routine pit stop. Olivier Beretta will take over from Dominic Dupree. So Beretta making his second appearance of this race out on the Adelaide circuit, and that team has been running pretty flawlessly. I don't want to jinx them, but they have, after struggling to come to grips with this racetrack in the first couple of days, they have certainly done quite well today when it has really counted.
The 70 cars being stopped and pushed now behind the wall. Hopefully not a big problem. The 91 Dodge Viper heads back out onto the racetrack now after routine service. Bit of a problem refiring the car. Olivier Beretta loses first spot in GTS to Nia Morum. The 92 Viper takes over that spot. The 92 machine is now 6th. The 91 car is 7th. And then the first of the GT cars, Lucas Lohr in car number 5.
If memory serves me right, that's the first time that the 92 car has actually been in the lead. Nia Morum able to get that car out there.
One car that's been going exceptionally well today is this one. Whoa! It now runs on. That's Norman Simon, the German driver, who has come into Team Raffinelli for this weekend for the Race of 1,000 Years. We go on board with Simon. Now this is coming around. You can see the corporate area there to the side. This is right behind the pits. And Norman Simon has just brought that up short of the wall, trying to bring it out. Team principal Gabriele Raffinelli will be scratching his head, wondering what has gone on there, and I'm sure Norman Simon is as well.
The 12 car has come to a stop on the circuit. Greg Murphy has stopped at number 12 Panoz. It looks like it's almost the same place in the race circuit, except he didn't get it stopped in time.
You're absolutely right. I think he is in the exact same spot in the race circuit. And those folks didn't get Norman Simon as a dinner guest, but they almost got Greg Murphy. So they have now pushed the car off the tire wall, and he has got it going again. He's backed it out. It looks like he's going to be able to keep going. Now, you might say, well, wait a minute, he's getting some assistance, which is contrary to the rules. rules, but in fact, if the car is in a dangerous position, they can get him out of the dangerous position, but then it's his responsibility to get the car back to the pits. As we take a look at a replay, Jim.
Identical. Identical places. As a matter of fact, I don't think he left new tire marks. He used the ones that that Norman Simon had left earlier. So we watch the car sneak up on that corner once again at a high rate of speed, hard on the brakes, and the car just goes straight. It doesn't want to turn anymore.
It looks like there were no brakes at all, because while Norman Simon was actually able to slow down, as it looks like we had a stop-and-go penalty for the 8 Porsche right here below us. While Norman Simon was able to bring that car to a halt, it looked like poor Greg Murphy had no brakes at all. And when he hit that curb, he bounced it a little bit and didn't slow down at all, straight into the wall. And there's poor Lawrence.
Jason Bright's looking, actually the most dejected look I've seen from a race driver, and obviously from the look of things, I don't think Greg Murphy's going to bring it back.
Yeah, I bet that's an even more dejected look underneath the helmet. Poor Greg Murphy as he shakes his head and kind of forlornly walks, puts his hands on his hips and disgustedly makes the longest walk in motorsports back to the pit lane to face his teammates and explain what happened. The 61 Viper, the Hugh Chamberlain car, has made a stop on pit road. Milko Duno will be taking over.
And the 12 cars rolled. Actually,
it looks like he's gotten it going again.
The 12 car is underway once again. He's going to try and bring it back.
So, indeed, Greg Murphy, not giving up the ghost, has got the 12 car back underway and is back here on the racetrack. So, bad on us for giving up the ghost. Greg Murphy has certainly not given up the ghost, and certainly the crew now will at least get a chance to look that car over and see if there is any opportunity to get back out on the racetrack, because if attrition keeps going the way it's been going, we still have 2 hours and 15 minutes remaining in this race. It may be, depending on how long the team thinks it'll take to get this car back underway, we may see this 12 car back out on the racetrack very, very shortly.
Well, it's real pressure time inside the Panoz camp. There's just a handful of laps remaining for them to hold on to third place. Greg Murphy, things were going so well. What happened?
I honestly don't know. We're trying to work out now if something did go wrong with the car or not, because it looked on TV, the guys said it just didn't turn. I tried to turn, and when I realised it wasn't going to go around the corner, I thought I tried to straighten it up, and I must have, when I hit the grass, it just kept going. So I honestly don't know. I don't know if I made a mistake or I didn't feel like I'd done anything wrong. So it doesn't look like there was a wheel locked or anything. It just didn't turn. So I don't know if something broke before we hit or what, but it's got me buggered, I don't know.
Fortunately, you've been able to get it back to the pits, and the boys are doing a great job.
Yeah, well, my fault. I gave up because the wheel was coming underneath, and then the guys came and had a look, and obviously I got going again and got it back. So fortunate enough. Hopefully Jason will be able to get out and do some laps, because I'm devastated.
It might not be lost, but as if they don't have enough things on their mind right now. The number 2 car rolls down pit lane, and they have already, even though the car's not even at a stop yet, the team has requested permission to go into the paddock. The number 2 car is going to get wheeled back, and from the look of it, they're going to have to work on the brakes. As Hiraki Kato comes to a stop almost in time to avoid the crewman marking where the stopping location for him.
And indeed, you were Johnny on the spot again, Jim Martin, as they have put a spinner underneath that car. They quite niftily turn it around in its spot right on a dime and then push it back into the garage area.
The 3.5-hour mark of the race of 1,000 years from Adelaide. Still out front, Dindo Capello, the number 77 car. His teammate, Alan McNish, look as though things have gone, in spite of the back problems of Alan over the course of the weekend, about as well as they'd have dared hope so far. But Dindo Capello has had his fair share of problems so far this weekend, too. A big crash in the morning practice today. The team did a great job of making sure the car was 100% for the start of the race. Alan fell back behind his teammate, Frank Biela, right at the start. But after about the first hour, said, all right, I think I can be a little quicker than you are, and promptly waltzed away into the lead, and it's been that way ever since.
Mimo Schiattarella has just taken over the Zero car. It's had its refueling part of the pit stop completed, and now some new Michelin tyres are going on the Raffinelli Run Lola. Mimo Schiattarella, who's raced here in F1, is going to take the car back out into the race. Well, they're a long, long way behind the surviving Audi, but you never know in a race of this length. They could be on for an even better finish. That would require some bad luck to go the other team's way. The engine bars up, and that's the noise of the F1's arrived. Judd engine sets off now down the pit lane. Back into the race goes the Zero car, and also Panoz number 2 has just emerged from its pit garage.
All right, so the number 2 Panoz car is once again wheeled into the pit area, this time with a new driver aboard, and I can't help but imagine that Johnny O'Connell is hoping the team's done a great job with the brakes, because it really appeared as though Hiroki Kato had his hands full, not only getting around the race circuit in anything close to a quick order, but bringing the car to a stop in pit lane was a bit of a challenge from the look of it, too. It looks as though they're on the verge of getting the number 28 car, in spite of the fact that they had to rebuild a whole bunch of bodywork this weekend into a podium finish position. The 0 and 28 machines, both the teams having to work double jeopardy over, or double duty over the course of the weekend to make sure the cars were 100% after coming into contact, some off-roading with both of those machines. The 0 car with a bad transmission, differential rather, the 28 car with some bodywork damage, and both of them look as though they're in for a podium finish as it stands right now.
While the impressive Panoz race car is best known for its on-track efforts, it has a road-going sister. The Esperante is a hand-built American sports car manufactured in Georgia. Danny Panoz, the son of billionaire Don, runs the plant, and together with his father is looking to expand the operation down under. But this time, a different car with a distinctly Australian flavour.
The great racetracks and the great venues have had cars named after them. We've never heard of a car named Hockenheim or A1 Ring, but we have heard of them called Sebring, Monte Carlo, and Daytona. So I decided that, well, it'd be a great tribute to say to Adelaide, thank you very much. We're going to name this car the Adelaide Roadster.
There's already been plenty of headlines about the Adelaide, and the entire project is gaining momentum. So much so, it looks like happening sooner rather than later, says Panoz Australia boss Dean Rainsford.
Within the next 12 to 15 months.
Panoz was unaware of South Australia's automotive manufacturing history when making the decision to build the new roadster in Adelaide. But now that he is, he says he's proud to be amongst the likes of Holden and Mitsubishi that use Adelaide as their base.
Well, I don't want to be the biggest anyway. I just want to produce about 200, 400 cars and get them out to the right-hand drive market in the world.
There's plans for the Adelaide to be raced in the GT category, but for now, Don Panoz is focusing on the road-going version.
Adelaide has such a good climate that an open-top sports car, which could have a roof you put on it or take off, but an open-top sports car would be super.
The 77 Audi continues to run like clockwork, but all sorts of misfortune has befallen everyone else out on the race circuit thus far. Who knows, it may be their turn sometime soon. As far as GTS, the 91 and 92 bikers are running 4th and 5th respectively, with 132 laps each turned in. As we watch the cars go by, I believe there's about a 40-second gap between the two. The 91 car with Olivier Beretta aboard, Jean-Philippe Belloc in the 92 machine running right behind him in 5th place. Then we get to the fastest of the GT cars, Lucas Lohr in the number 5 Dick Barber Porsche GT3R. Runs in 6th spot. Again, another one of the teams that has had a pretty much trouble-free outing thus far. And the number 10 car, Bill Oberlin, the BMW has come to a stop, and he's deliberately stopped it in pit lane, which means that they're going to have to rescue him, which is pretty sharp as far as I'm concerned. Bill Oberlin stops the number 10 car and waits for the crew and the safety people to roll up behind him. They're going to push the car back into pit lane, and that's exactly where the crew can take a look at it and hopefully cure whatever ails the number 10, which was the 3rd place GT car, Bill Oberlin.
It looked like we may have had, there was some smoke coming off, and then maybe he lost the engine in it because
maybe he lost the engine or something in the drivetrain. Regardless, it didn't want to play anymore from the look of it, and to the point where he almost looked as if he tossed the car sideways to get it slowed down for that corner. Randy Popes has moved into second place in GT, and the 78 car slows out on the circuit one more time.
It looks like he may be back underway. It looks like Emanuele Piro has effected at least some repairs to the car, and he too has gotten back underway. So not to be outdone by Greg Murphy.
Yeah.
Emanuele Piro has been quietly working on the 78 cars. It was parked along the long back straightaway, the Brabham straightaway here at the Adelaide Circuit, and now he has got the 78 car back underway. And you see it flopping pieces of bodywork as he goes up on the curb right in front of the 28 car. Oh, what a close moment.
You know
Franz
what?
Conrad.
Actually, originally he got back in the car and it looked as though he was going to try and drive it back this way, and it appeared as though he got it about halfway and gave up, which isn't Emanuele Piro's style at all. On the other hand, it also gave us a view, courtesy of our big screen TV's work here. It's not just the front suspension that's broken, it's the rear suspension as well, and the car was in all sorts of serious difficulty, but he's managed to get it back together again, and in spite of the fact that it has two wounded corners, not just one, Emanuele Piro is going to try to bring that car now in along pit lane. The 78 out is coming back. They may make a race out of this one yet, or at least give it a good old try.
With only 90 minutes remaining in the race of 1,000 years, Alan McNish has taken the wheel, the number 77 Audi. In what's been an amazing turnaround of events, the little Scotsman looks like driving all the way to becoming 2000 Le Mans champion.
He is now slid down inside the car, and it looks like indeed the Dindo is belting him in, and Alan McNish is certainly going to certainly acting like the champion that he is today.
And I know the Australian folks, if they don't have enough to cheer for, of course, everybody's going to take a deep breath and hope Alan does well as he heads up, sore pack and all, and the race leader onto the race circuit one more time. If you want somebody to believe in, ladies and gentlemen, as far as our Australian crowd's concerned here in Adelaide, the number 12 car of Jason Bright crosses start-finish line, and he is 10 laps out of a podium finish. 10 laps behind car number 28. We'll keep you in touch with that one as it goes, as far as that one goes, too. Jason Bright in car number 12. The Panoz back out on the circuit, turning its first lap at speed. Jason Bright is in 10th position in the 12 car, 10 laps behind the 28 car. Alan Heath, the 28 machine, is in third place. The 0 car, Mimo Scattarella, finds itself in second, and the number 77 car back on the racetrack with Alan McNish. McNish continues to circulate as the 78 car is in along pit lane, and now the crew goes to work. Another Herculean effort is going to be called for.
Well, Brad Jones, while things don't look too good for the sister car, it's looking great for the car you were meant to drive in.
Yeah, it's amazing how far in front they are. You know, the Audi's a great car, and Alan did an unbelievable job in his first double stint, and you know, they're just really cruising around now.
Is it a little bit disappointing for you not getting in there?
Oh, of course. You know, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed, but at the end of the day, I'm sure I'll look back and go, well, you know, it was a fantastic opportunity. It was great to drive the car. And, you know, it's a very professional crew. Bottom line is, I'm 4 seconds a lap slower than those guys, and, you know, I haven't had a race in the car, so there's only one car left. I'm sure they don't want to take any risk, and so Alan's fine, and so he's in the car.
Is still a race leader. The 77 car completed 173 laps, 9 laps in arrears as Mimo Scattarella in car number 0. The 28 car runs in third spot now. Then we get to the first of our GTS Vipers. The Team Orica Vipers now led by Carl Wendlinger. The 91 car is 4th. The 92 Viper of Neomorum is 5th. And 6th is the number 5 car of Dirk Muller. Right behind him, Randy Popes. The difference between those two cars is 1 lap. Dirk Muller has a 1-lap advantage over Randy Popes in the 30 Westward Ho car right behind them, and slowly moving up the charts, and they moved up 1 notch since we talked about them last. The number 2 and 12 Panoz cars, Johnny O'Connell's number 2 car is up to 8th place. The Jason Bright number 12 machine is up to 9th. Those two cars are running within 10 seconds of each other. And I would imagine Johnny O'Connell is trying to set the pace that he hopes and Jason Bright will desperately try to hold on to and maybe make some inroads into a podium finish.
And the news down at the Audi pit is that Frank Bieler is putting on his crash helmet and he's almost ready to go. There's still a bit more work going on Audi 78, but Frank, who, as I said a while ago, was in his civvies and put his race suit back on. And I just bumped into him in the paddock and he said, right, I try again. So he's going to go out and possibly get through to the end of the race. Emanuele Piro, I still haven't found, despite him bringing the car back, he's, I think, gone into hiding. He's a little bit embarrassed. On the first day of practice, he went off and spun the car, and ever since, really, he's been kicking himself for making that mistake. But Frank Bieler is going to get back in Audi number 78 in the next few minutes. The final few elements of the repairs on that car are just being completed, and then we're going to have the 2 Audis back on track.
The Le Mans cars weren't the only ones providing entertainment on the track. There was a packed program of support racing as well. The sports sedans events always promised to be action-filled, and they didn't disappoint. Queensland's Kerry Bailey was the early leader, but the real battle was for second between Mick Monterosso in the number 2 Ford Escort and Jeff Barnes' Pontiac Trans Am. Their battle reached a crescendo when Barnes pushed a little too hard. While the front runners were dicing, reigning national champion Tony Ricciardello was charging. The Perth youngster started last and soon found himself in a brief 3-way battle for the lead. Ricciardello was simply too quick. He overtook Bailey and Barnes and went on to win after starting from way back in 35th place. That win was rewarded with pole position in the second race, but the celebrations were short-lived when a start line problem saw Ricciardello lose several positions once the lights went green. Up front, Kerry Bailey's 300ZX was a clear leader, while Barnes and Monterosso were battling with former V8 supercar racer Darren Hossack in the Saab. Ricciardello suffered another setback when he ran off the circuit and was lucky not to roll his Alfa. Mick Monterosso's day wasn't going much better, his Escort coming to a stop after a frantic start to the weekend's second race. Brian Walden put on a show for the corporate boxes at the centre chicane, while Grant Mundy overcooked the Chico car. Darren Hossack's effort also came to an end with his Saab leaking fluid, ending his strong run in the top 4. The never-say-die attitude of Tony Ricciardello was remarkable. He again carved his way through the field after his early troubles, but ran out of time and was unable to catch the eventual winner, Kerry Bailey.
And coming on to pit road is the leader in the GTS category. That's Jean-Philippe Belloc, bringing the number 92 car in, and Amercian is going to take over from Belloc. And now it'll be interesting to see. Carl Wendlinger was a lap down. This pit stop has put Wendlinger back on the lead lap. I wonder if he is going to be able to catch Amercian during this pit stop, or if indeed Amercian's going to be able to get the 92 car back out on the racetrack. And in fact, here he goes. So we'll have to see just how close Carl Wendlinger is now that the 92 car has made its stop.
Yeah, we'll find out exactly. And
there he is.
Yeah, side by side into corner number 1. The 91 car is going to duck to the inside of the second corner. I just bet you money.
Not yet. He hasn't gotten him yet. So the Amercian, there he goes.
There he goes. It took him 2 more corners, that's all.
he was patient. I'm sure Hugh DeShaunack would have been waiting for him with a wrench had he not been. Oh, and what some great pictures now. If you're around the circuit and you can watch the big screen, watch the brakes light up on these Vipers, these carbon Vipers. The darker it gets, the more nuances you're going to be able to see in these race cars. Is sparks and flame and all kinds of stuff starts to fly off of them, and that's just the regular course of business.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. just now coming onto pit lane is the 61 car, the Chamberlain Viper, and Steve Watson has taken over that car from Milkaduno. So the routine stop now as they're cleaning the windshield. They've changed tires and refueled that number 61 car, and Watson will be getting back out onto the racetrack. And as Jim told you, they are just out of the top 10 in 11th place. They're 2 laps behind Jason Bright in the 12 car. So if any of those cars in front of them have any more trouble, that team will be in position to pounce and get a very hard-earned and well-deserved 10th place or top 10 finish.
Well, top 10 finish, and as it stands right now, unless something really dramatic happens, they're in for a podium finish as the sun slowly sinks into the west in Australia. He's probably going to win a championship. Dirk Muller in the number 5 car sits 6th overall in the GT, the Dick Barber Porsche GT3R. Boy, a tremendous job by that team, and a great job by Dirk and his teammate too, for that matter, to have that car up as high up in the standings as it has been. Lucas Lohr and Dirk Muller running in 6th. Randy Popeston, his countryman, doing a great job there in that number 30 car, but he's got a lap between himself and Dirk Muller to catch up before he can have a chance at least winning the category tonight, without having to say anything about the possibility of him winning a championship. Dirk's going to have to have some kind of a problem for Randy to have a serious shot at winning a championship today, the way things are going.
And now Jim Martin, it looks like the 0 car has come on pit road. Didier de Radigues has jumped aboard, and Mimo Chettarella has gotten out from behind the wheel. David has moved down there. This looks like a protracted stop. Did they change the radio or something?
I think what the problem was, Jim, was checking the front bodywork on the car, which seemed to be a little bit loose on the right corner. They got lots of green sticky tape out just to make sure that the bodywork didn't part company with the rest of the car. So the driver change and tires and fuel, that bit was fine. But whilst the car was in the pit lane, they took the opportunity to make sure that what they thought was rather loose bodywork was secure for the rest of the race. That was really why they lost the extra time.
Sounds like a good plan. Things are awfully close. The last thing you want is to have a piece of bodywork come flying up. And the number 2 Panoz has come to a stop. Johnny O'Connell is going to stop the car and trade it over to Hiraki Kato. He's going to get aboard that machine while they change drivers. They're going to change tires as well. A new set of Michelin go on that car. So the number 2 Panoz team seems to have, for maybe the first time all day long, a very routine stop, or at least that's the way it looks, and we hope for that.
David, does it look as routine down there as it does to us up here?
Just about. I mean, compared with the rest of their day, it's routine. Away it goes now. He very nearly set off with still 2 drivers in it because they were determined to get the car out as quick as possible. But yep, driver change, tyres, fuel, back into the race it goes. Every time I walk past the Panoz pit, something seems to be happening. They really have earned their money in the, what we had, 5 hours so far.
Of 1,000 years here at Adelaide. Out front, Alan McNish, the 77 Audi, leads this one by 10 laps. Once again, 10 laps in front of de Radigues in the 0 Olive Garden car. The number 28 car, which is Franz Conrad's Ford-powered Lola. The 28 car runs in 3rd spot, and he is well back from the race leaders. 19 laps, as a matter of fact. And then we get all the way back to the first of our GTS Vipers, the 91, 92 cars. 4th and 5th, the 5 car of Dirk Muller runs in 6th place overall and is in 1st place in GT. 2nd in GT is another one of the Dick Barber Porsches. John Graham finds himself in a podium position right now with his teammates in car number 15. Fallon Heath in the 28 car soldiering along. He is 9 laps out of 2nd place, but in 3rd. And I have a feeling this race could become interesting. The number 12 Panoz is capable of sufficiently fast laps that they might be able to make up that 8-lap difference over the space of our next hour, a minute, and how many odd seconds?
Hour and
I don't have that many
now.
fingers. I can't count that.
Hour and 1 minute. And the 12 car has...
de Radigues in car number 0 has slid off the race course.
Oh, that's certainly not good news for the 0 squad. And he's now stopped. He's going to get going again, and that's at the end of the Brabham straightaway. He is at the end of the Brabham straightaway, and it looks like he tried to get going again, but now he is stopped. This is just...
Jason
poor
Bright's
Gabriele
underway,
Raffinelli has just got to be beside himself.
You know who's going to be responsible for this if there is a serious problem that stops the car?
Me for telling the story about that. I know.
Actually, from the look of things, and with some professional help from Bob, looking over his shoulder, as DJ DeRadicus puts his hands in the air and said, "Is somebody's going to come and help me here, or am I going to be stuck forever?"
Yeah, it looks
Can't
like
find a gear.
It looks like he can't find a gear. That's exactly right, Jim.
Oh boy! Now the marshals come to his rescue, and at least they're going to push him out of harm's way.
Well, yeah, that's a very dangerous spot where he was, because that's right at the end of the Brabham straightaway, and he was kind of crosswise in the runoff area. So if anybody came down that long back straightaway and had a problem, they would have nowhere to go. So. This is just an absolutely horrible break, and while that was going on, Jason Bright has come in and stopped the 12 car and has now gone back out onto the racetrack. So, Jim Martin, you were absolutely right. You said that if they got it back in time, that they might just have a shot at a podium finish. And if this is a terminal problem for Didier DeRadicus, if he can't find a gear, with now just, looks like just under 53 minutes remaining. Jason Bright is 167 laps. DeRadicus has completed 183 laps. So we're looking at about 16 laps. And certainly Jason Bright will be able to complete more than 16 laps in the final 50 minutes of this race. So through all their hard work, the guys on the 12 car could at least get a podium finish in their class. Well, and certainly it would be a huge disappointment for poor Gabriele Raffinelli. Jim, I don't think there's anybody in the American Le Mans Series that's had harder luck than that team this year.
No, and for the look of things, we've got a car up against the wall. It's Jason Bright.
Oh, my heavens. The 12 car has gone into another tire barrier. We really can't tell from the onboard shot just how much damage there is to the car. He's looks like he's trying to find a gear to see if he can back it out of the tire wall. So hopefully the car's not too damaged too much. And also, while that's going on, the 91 car, currently second place in GTS, is in the pits. Carl Wendlinger will be turning the car over to Dominic Dupree, and so that is a routine stop, as they are one lap behind their teammates, the 92 car, with Amercian behind the wheel. But back out on the racetrack, as now we see a replay of the 12 car, Jim.
Yeah, the car coming around the curve, and suddenly it turns left where there's a right-hand corner, obviously, quite possibly, a gearbox problem or a brake problem. And we'll watch it from the inside of the car.
Here's an onboard view. Let's see. Over.
Loose.
Yep. Looked like it. The back end started to get loose on him. He corrected, and then it shot into the tire barrier.
But it is a tire barrier again, and from the look of it, it didn't hit it all that severely. But it's in a place where we could see a full course yellow to get that car out of the way.
Well, that's true.
If it's unable to be moved on its own.
In its brief 2-year history, the American Le Mans Series has gone from strength to strength. It began with just 8 races, mainly in the United States, in 1999, grew to 12 in the year 2000, and now will be even bigger in 2001.
We have venues scheduled for Europe, so there'll be a more complete European series next year, 6 races. We have our U.S. races in the box. Those are already announced. And we've added Malaysia, which will be next year the inaugural race of the Asian Pacific Series. There's a regular series going out. And we hope that Adelaide next year becomes the series championship, which is for all the winners of those various series to be here, or the top cars to be here to put on the season-ending series championship.
The exciting news for the series is the support the manufacturers are giving. Several new players are about to enter the arena, although some are familiar names.
Well, they keep coming out of the woodwork. We know MG's building a car, Bentley's building a car, Chrysler's coming with a new car, Volkswagen has a car. We've seen Dallara building the new Chrysler. So, yeah, I think that if you build it, they will come. And I think now that we've got venues and crowds, we can give sponsors a good return on their investment. It's getting world recognition. It's getting very high TV ratings compared to you know, our peers in this racing, I think we're outstretching everybody. I mean, of course, Formula One and NASCAR are big hurdles, and I don't pretend that we're going to match them. But for sports car enthusiasts and sports car people that like good racing, this is a show that I think will bring them out, and I think what we're seeing up to date has reflected the fans' reaction to this.
So Alan McNish is now behind the safety car, and this will give everybody that needs it that one final pit stop, and then we'll have a straight run and a straight fight to the finish of this race. We've got about now, as the clock ticks over yet another minute, we'll have looks like 43 minutes remaining in the race of 1,000 years. So this is also going to be give Jason Bright an opportunity to get pulled out of that mess that he's in. As we're waiting for
pit lane's open.
Pit lane is now open, so we will probably see Alan McNish come down pit road. We're waiting to see just what the situation is.
The safety car is, I believe, headed for, if not in the pit lane the next time around.
So indeed we should be
the green is not, it is.
There it is. And we are back at speed with 35 minutes remaining in the race of 1,000 years from Adelaide, Australia. Our only caution so far in this event. Alan McNish leads, and because of and now we were talking earlier, Didier Deradigas at the end of the Brabham straightaway pulling off the 0 car, and now Franz Conrad in the number 28 car has completed enough laps that he's on 182 laps, and Deradigas is at 183 and holding. So after 2 more laps, Franz Conrad will have launched that team from near oblivion a couple days ago when the car was looked like a basket case when it came back on a flatbed. When it came back on a flatbed to possibly a 2nd place finish in the race of 1,000 years. So, and who says the privateers can't compete? You know, you got to finish first.
Hey, it's going to be a tremendous result the way things are going. The 77 car leads the 0 machine. He's still listed as 2nd overall. Franz Conrad's number 28 car listed as 3rd. Will quite possibly finish in 2nd place. It could be interesting to find out who actually does finish 3rd in prototype. The number 12 car sits in along pit lane. Jason Bright sits forlornly at the wheel, and boy, if nothing else, the crews are sure getting a whole lot of practice of doing this in Australia, and I would imagine that's not the way they wanted to end the season.
Looks like they're working on some brake ducting and that sort of stuff. Probably what they're going to have to do, from the looks of it, is looks like they're trying to replace that front splitter. Is what's going on there in those pictures.
Alan McNish in the 77 Audi, still a race leader. Franz Conrad driving his number 28 car, now runs in 2nd spot. And the GTS Viper of Dominic Dupuis has moved up to 3rd. And that's going to really mess up the victory podium stuff.
And we are now just a little bit over a minute to go, 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining in the race of 1,000 years. Alan McNish on cruise control in the Audi number 77. Franz Conrad going to be the best finish that that team has had in a long, long time. And what a thrill it must be for Franz to be able to drive his own car across to take the checkered flag in what has got to be one of his best finishes in many, many years, and certainly his best ever finish in the American Le Mans Series. So
certainly a gentleman, and now we wait for the number 77 car to come onto the front straightaway. And if he slows the pace up just a little, we anticipate he might get a checkered flag. This time.
30 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining as Alan McNish cruises down the Brabham straightaway one more time, makes the right-hand turn onto and then the left into the racetrack, horse racing track portion of the course, in the straightaway that's behind the paddock area. The Audi crew and all the teams now heading out. It looks like the checkered flag is at the ready. We are at 10:102, and Alan McNish makes the right-hand turn onto the front straightaway. There's the checkered flag. Alan McNish wins the race of 1,000 years. for Audi, and he clinches the championship in the American Le Mans Series. Franz Conrad will finish second. We're waiting for Franz to come around, and the fireworks start to go off. And what a great moment as the 15 and 61 cars go by the second place in GT, as we're waiting for the third place car, the 91 car, to the winner in the GTS category.
Jason Bright goes by. He gets a nice round of applause from everybody as he finishes our race of 1,000 years. And boy, there's another team that sure worked for it. It's not first, but hey, it's got to feel almost as good. Franz Conrad makes his way down the big, long straightaway as we watch some of the other cars come. Terry Borchel crosses the start-finish line. The 2 machine goes by as well, and there's our GTS winner. Dominic Duplessis in the 91 Viper takes the checkered flag and the win in class. The 5 car of Dirk Muller goes by, the class winner on the season. The 78 car flashes by as the Audis finish with both of their machines in spite of everything that's happened today.
Dindo Capello, well done. You are the winner of a race of 1,000 years.
Yeah, it was a strange weekend for us. Very difficult till this morning when I had a problem and we crashed very hard in the warm-up. But at the end, the result is fantastic, and win here and the last day of the year is the best thing we could ask.
What a very special occasion for you.
Yeah, for us, Christmas is today.
The celebrations have already started for Audi Sport Team Joest. What a performance and what a team, what a partnership. These 2 guys, Dindo Capello and Alan McNish, in the Crocodile car. They did not win the Le Mans 24-hour. They did not win Sebring, this particular partnership, but they have won the race of 1,000 years. And the crew members always so supportive of their drivers. And Alan McNish, what a job he has done today. Under very difficult circumstances. Look at him getting out of the car very gingerly, just protecting that lower back. What a performance. 2 lots of double stints for the 31-year-old Scotsman. He celebrated his birthday in the lead up to this race. He wanted to do it. He did everything the doctors and physiotherapists asked of him to protect his back in the lead up to the race. And it's been all worthwhile. Well done. Once he got into that car, there was no stopping him. And what a way to farewell the Le Mans Series as he moves to Formula One. The crowd swells to the podium, and they've been marvellous this weekend, in excess of 120,000. Alan McNish, it may not have been Sebring, it may not have been Le Mans, but what a New Year's gift and what a way to leave the series.
It's a fantastic finale to the year. You know, this race was one of the biggest races of the year, and we had to work hard for it. I didn't think it was going to be possible, but Dindo did some fantastic work in the lead up to it, and really the latter half of the race was relatively simple, but you know, overall, extremely happy, and there'll be some parties tonight.
And that's exactly what the crowd is ready to do. Party to see in 2001. The podium presentation for this unique partnership. They are the winners of the race of 1,000 years. Alan McNish, Dindo Capello. Unfortunately, Australia's Brad Jones didn't get to drive in the race, but did a marvellous performance during practice. As the champagne is sprayed, Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich and Reinhold Joest from Audi, they will celebrate their drivers' wonderful achievements today in the team when they had to dig deep and work hard this morning when the car was crashed. And McNish getting a little emotional there with Capello and really enjoying the moment. Well, of course, we know that they are victorious here in Adelaide. We checked the other placings, and a great performance by Conrad Slater and Australia's Alan Heath to finish second outright and in the prototype category. Beretta, Wendlinger and Dupuis third outright, first in GTS, and Lucas Luhr and Dirk Muller first in GT, and an amazing fifth outright. And that would certainly put a smile on Dick Barber's face. Brabham, Bright and Murphy regrouping after those couple of incidents to finish ninth. The championship points as far as the prototype category is concerned, Alan McNish a clear winner and Audi a clean sweep of the top 4 positions. The 2 BMWs of Muller and Lato and David Brabham the best of the Panoz team in 7th position. Olivier Beretta is champion again in the GTS category as the Team Orica Vipers say goodbye. They'll be in the prototype category next year. And Dirk Muller, the champion for 2000 in the GT class. Although the race of 1,000 years is only 1/4 the distance of the Great Le Mans 24-hour, today it threw up twice as much action. The race proved to be as grueling as everyone thought it would be, and Alan McNish proved to be a wonderful champion that he is. On behalf of everyone at your home of Motorsport Network 10, Happy New Year.